partners.
How do you do?
And we are the landscape architects who are under contract with New York City Parks Department to do the design work for Pexley. And we were involved in the original project, which started back in 2006 and was approved by Community Board and approved by Landmarks Commission. But during that time, the project was kind of delayed because of all the street work and everything that was going on down there. And during that time, I think there was a lot of changes to Pexley, to the neighbourhood, really. I mean, they made the post office into an elementary school, so it's very different, somewhat different demographic down there now than it was when we first started in 2006. And I think there was some opposition in the community, even though Community Board had approved the design. There was sort of like issues and people were not that happy about it. And that was, I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was the design that had the sort of
ship side,
right.
and yeah.
So we went back to Community Board 1 almost, I think, a year ago, and had like a listening session that was very well attended, where we heard from a lot of people in the community, both on the historic side, the family side. There was a lot of different opinions, but everybody seemed to say what they want was a kind of an open, multi-purpose space that was simpler and that still had some shade, some trees, for, you know, that, but basically seniors could sit and watch and do stuff. People could maybe have small events. Kids could come out from school and run around and meet with their parents. So we went back and we did a redesign of the project, which is vastly simplified, and we took that back to the full community. Well, we we went back to the Community Board in May to the.
It was a town hall meeting.
It was a town hall meeting at the Beekman Towers. Right, and so we presented that back in May, and it was very enthusiastically received by the community, and then the full board, I guess, voted on it, but we have not actually presented to you guys, to the Landmarks Committee. So we wanted to show that to you. In that intervening time between May, when we presented to the full board, and now, we have gone to LPC, and they made a few comments that we have slightly tweaked the design from what we showed to CB1 in May, and we're due to go back to LPC on the 22nd of January. So, okay, let's see. All right, so this is just a sort of, you know, the standard presentation format, so I think you already know where it is, the land use. So the existing site shows that, you know, we have the city bike, do we have a pointer on this? Yeah, the city bike rack.
You see it too.
Which is over there on the left.
Yeah, we can see it. City Bike Station.
And City Bike are going to remove that rack and relocate it somewhere else before this project starts. And then the two sort of areas are ringed with like boulders and planters right now, because after DOT and DDC finished all their street work, they basically made that into like a interim temporary plaza, so it's totally paved in asphalt right now, and it does have some movable seats and stuff in it, so people are using the space now. This slide just shows the existing street trees in that neighbourhood and some of the views as it is right now, so you can see the boulders, the planters that were put in by DOT, and then there's quite a lot of shrubs and bushes in there. And this is the east end. So actually the west end of the site is owned by DOT and the east end of the site is owned by Parks, and so they have slightly different rocks in here and slightly different planters, but overall sort of same type of thing. There's also this big sewer that runs through our site from east to west, and so that sewer has a big what they call access corridors. So that means that we can't really do anything, like we can't plant trees there is basically what it means, or do any major excavation or anything structural. When we were looking at the project originally, we spent quite a lot of time looking at the history and how Peckslip had developed and how the land had been filled out over time from its original sort of pre-development condition to the current condition. And so originally the waterfront was back at Front Street, and then it got filled in to Water Street and eventually to South Street, with the slip itself sort of filling up that middle space until it too was filled in. So at one point this was a big maritime centre. There was a lot of boats that came in there. There was the market inside the slip here. And after that time, then it became used as a market space in coordination with the sort of Fulton Fish Market. So this also shows the existing buildings and when they were built. So the oldest building is the Jasper Ward House on the corner. We have some old buildings here next to the Paris Cafe. And then there is some modern infill buildings on the south side here, plus of course the whole Con Ed building, which was built in I think 74. So looking at the historic maps, that's kind of where we got the information for that diagram, and shows the different condition of Peckslip, which is sort of indicated with that arrow. So even after it was filled in, you had the ferry docks, but then of course after they built Brooklyn Bridge and interstate highways, the ferries became in the East River were not really, didn't last forever there. So some of the historic views, so you can see in that top one where it's got the ferry terminal, and in these older pictures you've got this carts and the sidewalk. There's had this old little shed here for quite a while, and then even in the 30s when it was used as a market, really almost like as a parking lot. And after sort of by the 1970s, the area was pretty desolate, and a lot of the buildings were actually vacant. There was boarded up windows. We have some great pictures from the 70s. Like this is kind of from the 70s. It was very desolate, and then the whole centre space was just used as a parking lot until DOT started that reconstruction project, which was probably about 5 years ago. So at that time, the parking was kicked out of the site. So looking at sort of for our design inspiration, we did look at that history, and also sort of things like the Brooklyn Bridge and the ships and the sails. They were sort of influenced our design for the site, which is, so this is our current design. So it's very simple in terms of we're just paving the site with granite paving that is going to continue that grain of the paving that goes north-south across there. And then we have these three sort of triangular shapes that we feel reference those things like the bridge cables or the ship sails that have planting in them and allow us to bring seating along the edge of that. And so we're really trying to look at using materials that are very similar to all the other materials that are found in the seaport, and keeping an open as feeling as possible by using a very, we don't have any fencing around the site. We just have what we're calling the slab curb, which we'll show you in a bit more detail. So it's really just a low curb that's no more than 12 inches high, so that you get this sense of sort of expanding into the space. And then in the areas where we have crosswalks where people might be entering the site, we have bollards that are similar to some of the other bollards. So one of the things this site does as well is to close Front Street to traffic, so the traffic has to go around, which really allows us to make a full plaza that opens up this space in a much more useful way, because I think otherwise if you have two separate spaces, it just doesn't really give you that sense of the full plaza. So we'll show you a few details of this. So one of the things that the community asked us to do that we didn't have on the previous presentation to the community board was to add in a sort of a seat area here, because there was a feeling that with the bollards along South Street, that if kids were running around in here, it was a little bit too open. So we added another seat element at that edge that matches some of the other seats that we have. So this is sort of an overhead view that shows you in some more detail what it might look like. So the planting areas are just low planting, they're not built up, it's just low to the ground. And then the seat walls, these are like stone seat walls with benches on them, and then there's that seating element, so I'll show you that in a little bit more detail. We also were concerned about the views. This is something that came up from Landmarks Commission. So we looked at view studies through the space to make sure that the trees were not going to really impact anything. So this is looking from the west end, and you can see that the trees are pretty much in the middle of the space. So here's the Jasper Ward House, which actually goes to there. The photo's a little fuzzy. There is no Jasper Ward House behind the trees. So we felt that that was kind of almost like framing the view of that. And then you can see these views from the west side. So because of the streets, the trees are quite pushed into the middle of the site, so we feel that they're not really impacting the views too much. You can still see the Jasper Ward House, you can see the Brooklyn Bridge. These existing trees that are here, those are honey locust trees, which is what we're planning to plant too, and that is almost the mature height of the trees. So these trees are not really going to get any bigger than those trees up there. So even if when these trees get a little bit bigger, they're never going to get taller than those buildings, so you'll always be able to see the Brooklyn Bridge. Like maybe it'll get a little bit bigger than that, but not too much bigger than those trees that are up there right now. And then looking at the sections, so we wanted to make sure, you know, that from sidewalk to sidewalk, it's like at one grade. So our curve is basically, it's just like sitting on top of the paving. So once you come through the curve, you're still at the same elevation as you are at the street. So it's not like you step up onto a separate space. So we felt that that would give us more of that open feeling and connection to the rest of the slip and the rest of the street. And this is just another section that shows that. So this is the bollard, the seating, the planting areas, and this being an existing tree on the sidewalk and another existing tree. So we're actually showing our trees slightly bigger than the existing trees. And this is a section looking towards the Connet building and the Jasper Ward House. The light poles that are there already will stay there. So that's so in terms of materials, these are existing materials found in the seaport that we used as precedents for the materials that we plan to use. So this is from East River Esplanade, so not so much the historic part of the seaport, but still we're very related to that. It's almost like a gateway to East River. This is the granite block that's currently in the street, and the benches and boulders. So during the reconstruction of Peck Slip, the streets, Front Street, Beekman Street, there's some of that reconstruction. The DOT project basically excavated all the granite block from the Peck Slip site and used it to repave the streets. So we originally thought we would be reusing that old block, but now there is no old block because it's all been used. But also we do need to make the block ADA accessible so that it is accessible to everyone. So we did, well, I'll talk about that in a second. But these are our proposed materials. So we're looking at a granite bench that is very similar to the benches found in the seaport. The granite curb would be, again, similar to that bench, but a lower version of that. And then for the seating, so we're sort of having that granite seating as a seat wall along the planter, and in places we're putting in a bench that is similar to those benches that are found on the East River Esplanade, but instead of using it over a concrete wall, we're using it over a granite wall. This is the element at the end by South Street, so it slightly has this stepped thing, so you can face in both directions. This is the bollard that we're proposing at the crosswalks, which is the same as this bollard that is currently used at Peck Slip. We would be, Burling Slip, but in black. And then one drinking fountain that we're proposing that would also be a sort of black cast metal fixture. So for the paving, we looked at many different stones. We did a lot of research to try and find some stones that would really match closely with the existing stones on the site. And we're proposing two different types of stone. I'll just go forward for a second. So what we're looking at is to use granite block in a pattern that is kind of a random pattern interspersed with these wider pieces of granite that we are calling like linear pavers or plank pavers, which are also found in the seaport area as granite paving. So the granite blocks, we found these two different colours that we think match fairly well. This one you can see is very close. This in real life actually does look closer, and we feel that even though that's a little light in that photo, that it's going to dirty up and end up looking pretty similar to what is there.
I know. Stop you for 1 second. Again, I just came in a few minutes. None of this involves vehicular traffic, right?
No. There's not any vehicular traffic.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
we are laying that. I mean, we're going to be laying this paving on a concrete base, so it's going to be very sturdy. I mean, there's one place where we put like a chain across so a vehicle could come in if necessary, but that would be maybe like for some maintenance reason or something. But it's not going to be open to public traffic, and I wouldn't imagine that even parks like maintenance vehicles would use it on a regular basis, only if they had to come in and say clean out a drain or something, something like that. So we're proposing to blend these two different colours of granite like this. We looked at so many different granites. We looked at different colours, and we ended up kind of going with just these two tones of grey, which seemed like it would be the best match. And then one of those same colours is also used for the linear paving. So there's really only two granites in the paving, but in two different sizes. And then this shows you that pattern that we're talking about, and this is sort of a close-up of maybe like the crosswalk, this being the existing area, so we put the bollards at crosswalk, the curve, and then it transitions into this granite paving on the inside of the site. And for the planting, very limited palette. We're just keeping it really simple, so we just have the honey locust trees and then some low grasses and simple planting in there. It has to be, the site may flood, so we're aware of that, it has to be like flood tolerant. And here's a couple of renderings that show, so this is looking towards the west, and you see the paving, the slab curb, these are the bollards, the seating areas. And then this is looking towards the east, so this is where the planting areas are narrower, and then it opens up into that wider space at the east. So that's it. That's our presentation. And then if you have any questions at all.
Well, yeah, I noticed that when you went before Waterfront and Parks and Resiliency, they were concerned about the maintenance. How are you addressing maintenance?
So Ricardo's not here, right, Sybil? So Parks Department has committed to, maintain the site forever. They're going to be responsible for the maintenance. And Sybil, is there anything that...
No, sorry. I'm Sybil Young. I'm Parks and Historic Preservation Officer, and I think our project manager might be stuck on the subway who would have all that information for you. We hopefully will see him soon, but if not, we can have him get back.
Right,
okay.
But I think they did say they were going to have a committed... the downtown garden staff. Oh, here's Ricardo. just in time.
Sorry.
So there's a question, we just did the,
We're,
finished the presentation and then we have a question.
we're asking about the maintenance by parks of the area. What's the plan for that?
We will maintain it to the best of our
I was hoping for something.
Was that a little more?
better than that.
Wow.
Jeez.
confess, I'm not with maintenance and operations, I'm with.
That's our friend.
Oh.
You know who that is.
Yeah.
The man, the guy that parks.
Steve Simon.
Oh, no, that's
No,
not what I was
it
thinking.
wasn't.
Lawrence Morrow.
Lawrence, we were thinking about
Larry.
Lawrence,
We
Larry.
call him Larry. Yes, he's our friend.
He's out sick at the moment.
So I mean, so
So,
It will be maintained, and
Well-
I mean, Parks is going to come regularly and do the garbage and pick up the litter and do.
Well-
And to the best of our ability, we have a gardening crew that will look after the.
yeah, but we know take Foley Square. I mean, there's park after park after park that neighborhood associations have to find money, take control of these things, and we just wish we could get beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay, but all right, that was one question. Let's just go around quickly. Remember, this is for information only.
Actually, on that, I mean, you have no
Second
traffic
fire
over
pump.
that, but it's still
It's
Right.
paved blocks.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong with blocks, who maintains that?
But again, will be Parks, so they're responsible for all the maintenance.
If something goes wrong with the
Paving.
pavement. Yeah. We have ratings that we have to, pass, so if something like a missing paver would fail. The maintenance crew is motivated to make sure that they don't fail. So one of the
Okay.
things they have to do is replace missing
call
paver.
somebody from Italy.
I guess I'm comparing,
Exactly.
I'm comparing you to DOT and Granite Street, which isn't fair.
Okay.
So-
Well,
Not
I
only
think
Granite
it
Street,
is.
but every
Well,
common
they're using the
street.
same
Yeah.
It's
contractor.
it's all of them.
But the project hasn't been bid yet, so there's no contractor on board at
Alright,
the
so
moment.
Ah.
whoever the
That was-
contractor was who did Granite Street,
Don't use
don't
it.
use
hire.
that.
They're all bad. Every street
No,
because
they're not
they tear
all-
it. Well, because you tear it up to
Yeah.
do street work. It's impossible. It's just
Right,
No, they felt
unfortunate.
after
But
7
that one
years,
was
I'm
particularly
sorry, I'm moving the line.
No, you're
After
good.
seven-
Go.
This is my neighborhood. After 7, 8 years, the blocks are coming apart
Really?
next to a street that's 100 years old. That might be a little dip here and there,
Yeah.
but they're still in place.
Wow.
So,
And-
so
but you don't
that's
know
the
who the
concern.
contractor
We know there's
is.
no vehicular traffic on this,
Right, right.
And it's pretty
but
flat.
Yeah. It's not going to get
Granite
the same. Yeah, it's not going to get the same usage.
Additional replacement and the type of concrete and the spacing between the blocks, too far away, it's not good.
Right.
Needs to be buttered, so.
Right. No, we're looking to make the joints fairly thin, like probably half an inch max.
These are all
This will also be set.
It shouldn't be as a
Yeah, it's going to be set.
It will have a
I'm
concrete
just
subbase,
prickly.
which will ensure that it's a lot more stable, a lot more structurally sound.
Yeah, it's Eric. Yeah, it's Eric.
Are
No,
there
it's not Eric.
No, I know
newly
it's not
cobbled
Eric,
streets
but there's an
that are
American
not
missing.
on a base?
Yes,
I
some
can say the older cobble streets were not on concrete bases. They were-
When you say older, I'm not talking about 19th century, I'm
That's
talking
Eric.
about 1995
Eric.
or 2010.
I think that there are
those
some where they
were-
use, like, instead of using concrete, they use asphalt as a base.
Okay.
Well, and our standard cobblestone setting, even for paved areas, has been in the past cobblestone on sand.
Oh,
We don't do that anymore because
Okay.
it's not ADA accessible. So all our cobblestones have to be, they can be still on sand, but now they have to be mortar joints.
I see.
And if they're gonna be on sand, they can't have vehicular traffic because that would.
I see.
Crushing. Okay,
I'm sorry.
let's just keep going around. Eric. Sorry.
Jim.
Vera.
Um,
Vera.
What about the shrubbery and the plants, how are you maintaining?
That would be the gardening crews from the park
Okay.
center. And
Eric?
our gardening crews have done a much better job in recent years than they have in years past, maintaining our plant beds. So,
Megan. Mark, another
Does
comment?
this come back for us for a resolution? Is
No,
that
it's
No.
not a public.
No, it went through an odd procedure, but Anthony has requested that we just view this for information only because people want to get this thing moving.
So I think some of the concerns that were listed, can it be sent at least an email from Anthony?
Well-
Perhaps?
Well, they're in a resolution from the previous.
When was that?
In
It
May.
was the
We had a
22nd
town
of May.
I don't
They had
remember that.
we
It was
Oh.
waterfront.
Oh, waterfront, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to refer to this resolution. I mean, the issue of Maintenance still seems to be an issue.
So that came with the cobblestone
Yeah.
stuff was in there? Okay.
Oh, well, no, not about, well,
Not
what,
specifically
what-
cobblestone.
What we talked about.
well, like,
yeah.
but you're just talking about not using a bad contractor. I mean, it's hard for us to say, please don't use a bad contractor.
Well, don't make the same mistake as that was, just put it simple, don't make the same mistake that was done on Granite Street.
Right.
Well, they say that every time they won't, but
No, but
Go on the record.
as
and
you
say
go
we
on the
have
record.
concerns
So
about-
you have concerns
If,
and the blah, blah,
if we
blah.
knew,
Given the past history of the city's,
yeah, if we knew who that contractor was, it would be,
I
I
don't
mean, maybe
remember.
we can
There's
find
only
out
4.
from
It
DOT.
was,
You're only
Yeah.
probably right.
the
People do
the
that.
project was called Harrison Street Project, you can probably find the
What
project
was
number
the
through that.
specific concern with how the work was done?
That it's all
it's-
disintegrated.
It's utterly disintegrated.
Yeah.
You can't
I had
walk,
7 years.
You could
people
barely
fall,
walk over it. I stopped driving
people
on
can't
it.
bicycle,
Yeah.
people can't drive,
Which
it's
part
a
of-
goner.
Which part of
Because of
Granite
the
Street, so Greenwich
pavers are-
between
the
Most
Harrison,
egregious is Greenwich and Lake, if you go by there, you see.
But it's the whole strip.
Partly the ground is.
And other side streets.
Okay.
yeah, actually,
okay, we got that, Jason.
What did Shippo think about it?
Shippo has approved it,
Oh, I bet.
yeah.
You would say
They
that
didn't
what?
approve the first one.
Our-
So that's positive.
Our
Yeah.
detail and specification for this particular part, where we're going to set the granite block on a mortar bed on top of a concrete base,
Yeah.
will prevent the problem that you're.
Okay, because our experience is that if it's not done right the first time by bricklayers imported from Palermo, it'll never get fixed again.
Can you, yeah.
Let's end on a positive note.
Yeah.
This is an amazing
Yeah.
turnaround
Yes, it
story
is.
for Peck Slip. It has
That's
nothing to do with what happens on Bruce's
Right,
side
right,
of the
right,
violence.
right. Vera,
Okay.
I'm sorry, may I miss this part, but what was the timing of everything? Was this-
Quick.
Did we, did we-
it's going to bid now, right?
No. We're
Oh,
not.
no,
No.
no,
wish.
no.
So the timing is that on the 22nd, we're going back to
LPC,
If LPC approves, then we will start the construction drawings, and then that will ideally be finished in April. No, pretty quickly,
Imagine they
right?
don't approve.
And-
it.
Like
So-
Bogarta's triangle.
yeah.
And then we would go to bid, in a few months after that,
I
like
think
in the
we-
summer.
yeah, we hope to transmit the final construction documents at the end of April or early May. And then there's about, a few months that it goes to legal, it goes downtown, there's a whole procurement process. And then it will probably go out to bid sometime that summer.
Yeah,
And construction,
a year
Summer.
maybe?
And then there's still a procurement process.
Can't do it in the
of
winter.
9 months. I would say maybe by next spring, we would be ready for construction.
Yeah.
That would be-
start construction
Spring.
spring
2020.
20.
And presumably, as happens, for instance, at Bogarta's Triangle and elsewhere, once construction begins, all the utilities will want to get under there and rebuild.
No, because they actually did.
Oh, no, they redid all.
Can I hear the answer from, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, they redid all the utilities as part of the DOT work.
I see.
So the
Okay.
only utility work that we'll be doing is we will have a couple of drains, we'll be doing a little bit of drainage, and we have a connection to the drinking fountain. But they're not going to be tearing up all the streets
Thank
because
you.
that's already been done.
Thank you. And it cures Canal Brashaw?
Yes, Canal Rothschild.
How's Andy Moore doing? Is he still there?
He's
You
doing
can,
great.
so, okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Close it first before we.
So it's been a long time coming, and
Yeah.
so we're very much looking forward to this actually being open to the public. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank you
on
very much.
LPC. So is 200 Church here? Okay, would you like to come up?
I think I should do 2 and 4 because I'm gonna have an issue with 3.
Well, I was going to get Jason to do 3.
Oh,
Oh,
terrific.
okay.
Is that a good one or just
Yeah,
a
it's-
regular old one?
No, it's one of your.
for
It's
you
good
and
for
my
you. Yeah, one of
specialities?
your specialities. I'm going to review it though. I must review it.
I was just waiting to get you.
I try my best.
So who's doing 200?
Oh,
I'll do.
Okay.
Okay,
you
all
do
right. No, you do it because you may have to leave. Okay, why don't you do this? Well, you never know. Why don't you do this?
yeah, let's see.
Okay, go for it, Bruce.
Okay. While you're
200 church.
queuing it up.
Thank you.
And
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
To the right should be.
The arrow's just one.
Yeah, just
Okay, okay.
Okay, Bruce.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, hi, I'm Jenny, Jenny Young. I've never been at a community board meeting, so I'm kind of winging it.
Don't be
But,
afraid of me.
So I own a business at 200 Church Street. We teach robotics to kids.
It's a landmark building, which I guess is why we're here. I'll show you the presentation, but I'm basically here to see if you guys will allow me to put a gate in. So I have pictures of like further back on the building, but basically this building used to be one building that was one use, and then they split it up into separate stores. And so my store is really lucky because we got the vestibule plus like a secondary door. And what happens is probably homeless people come and they hang out on our vestibule, and they leave really good messes, and there's excrement and there's feces, and so oftentimes in the morning my staff comes in very early and they leave very late. We've had a couple instances where a homeless person, I was trying to leave late, and they kind of like camped out at this door, and I couldn't get out of there, and then I had to call the police, and then the police never came. I waited like for 3 hours for this half-naked man to leave so that I could leave the building.
This is Church and
Thomas,
Oh
basically.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
whole block-long building.
It's the AT&T
Yeah,
building.
yeah,
Yeah,
AT&T.
across from
Oh.
that AT&T
Oh.
building, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the only.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's a very kind
It's
of
just.
ugly
Well,
building that used to be, I don't even know, actually, I don't remember what the
Oh,
know
so
it.
there's residential above.
There's a
Yes.
residential
And the
above,
Bird
and then-
Bath used to be below.
What did?
Bird
On
Bath
the
Bakery.
Bird Bath
Okay.
used to be in the
Yeah,
bakery
yeah,
on the
okay.
corner, and then we're like 3 doors
I
down from where
understand.
Bird Bath
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
now a barber.
Okay.
And so we just, it's dangerous for my employees to come in. A lot of times it's just one of us, and so you're coming in, a lot of times it's a young female
So
person, and so it's scary.
Okay, so we
Show
can
us
see.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Show us.
there's a mess. Okay.
Oh,
Hi,
Here's-
kids. Okay.
Here's some historic evidence of
Okay.
the building.
Those are your employees?
No, this is from 1947.
Wow.
This used to be the Spring Mills. Oh, it was the Spring Mills headquarters actually for a really long time. I like.
Yeah, we
you
get
know.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, great. So there was a
right.
door
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, yeah.
And these were the beauty queens. Here is my building. So this is what we're talking about right here and here. This is my store.
Right.
Okay, those are your views.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Go back a second. I just want to see. You said these are
Bird
my
Bath.
stores.
Bird Bath is here.
Yeah.
I am here.
So where is the Vietnamese?
Here.
Oh, but you didn't take over that space.
No, this.
It's
So
just this.
it's these two doors. Or this.
Oh, okay.
So I got the luck of this.
Yeah, the
Plus,
big one.
yeah. I mean, it's actually nice because there's flagpoles, but whatever. So that's mine, and people hang out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So the proposal
Okay,
is
so my proposal is, I would like to put a gate in.
a roller.
I'd like to put a roller gate,
Mm.
and the thing that is good. This picture is. You're just gonna have to kind of go with me on this picture.
But
I think you can
what-
see it. Sorry, here on this side. There is like a soffit right here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
You don't
so
have to
if
see
you're
anything.
looking at it from the inside, the roller gate, I just have to take down the sheetrock, can fit completely within that space. So when the gate is up, you won't see it, but when the gate is down, obviously, you'll see a gate.
And that, I mean, that the gate you got there is like some
It looks
sort of
like it's
medieval
bent in.
dungeon entrance. I mean, there are.
I expect to see a guy in.
Well,
yeah,
Dave,
yeah. That's right.
I'd be scared to go in
Yeah.
rather than out.
Roger, come on, man, what is your request?
We're giving you a little
only
hard time.
medieval times, it can be a large
Yeah,
drumstick.
yeah.
It was funny though, because Landmarks asked that it was dark, which I
Well-
thought it should be silver, so we
But that's okay. There's lots of dark.
That's lots of dark.
Okay.
But
So,
yeah.
okay, we can make it look
But
like-
it shouldn't. First of all, it shouldn't be solid.
So it's funny because I asked Landmarks, and then they told me today, actually it should all be solid, and I don't know the answer as to why.
No.
I thought it had to be more open.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is staff you're talking about. You're not
No,
talking
this
about.
is going to a public hearing.
No, it's
This
going
is
to-
No,
why-
when
Yeah,
you
but
say
the
you
staff,
speak
yeah,
to
the
landmarks,
staff,
you're
right.
speaking to
So
staff,
we can give them our
not to
advice.
I
commissioners.
can't.
Well, so
It
the
needs to
woman
be-
presented it to the
Door,
commission,
skate from-
Yeah,
to
right,
somebody,
exactly.
Okay.
Like-
and she's trying to see if we can get staff level
And
approval.
who's the
Yeah,
woman?
okay.
All right. So we understand.
We
So
understand.
that's it.
Shy out. You got a
I'll
good
shy
one.
out.
Okay.
So if
How many
you
feet
That's a good
from the door up to where your gate you have started?
Oh, I'm
your
sorry, I
interior-
didn't
So-
measure that, but it's 3 steps, so it is.
The question I'm getting to
3
is there
and a
enough
half feet.
space to put a door that opens in?
So
something?
the solution, I
I'll
think,
show
is
you
what
why
you
can't
showed.
do that.
All right,
The
well,
The reason why you can't do that is because these doors, which are part of Landmarks, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They're beautiful brass
Yeah.
doors.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't be taken out.
Right.
But if you go back,
And
if you
they swing this way, so you can't swing
But
in.
if you go back to the Beauty Queens, you'll see that was a sliding gate. So right, this slides across
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
so, and that's
I'd
what you
find
need.
one on eBay or
Yeah,
something.
eBay.
Seriously.
Yeah, brass.
'Cause
That's what you
That's
need.
you need.
That
That's
looks
what you
like,
have.
unfortunately,
The
like
other is
they're closing
just-
down the building. I
It's
know it
just
protects
terrible.
you, but it's
I mean,
not. A
So
we're
I think,
not-
you
we're
know,
not-
right?
It just
I
mean-
needs
They're gonna
something
put that anyway,
to give
but-
the
That's right.
status
You
of
could buy it on
the.
eBay.
So
of the
do a
building.
research for a
Yeah.
roll, a
Sure.
sliding gate, a sliding
For
gate.
your community more than
Yeah.
anybody, because Landmarks is probably going to.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
there's-
matter
say,
to me
okay.
what this thing looks like. If it had
Yeah.
fluorescent flowers on it, I don't care.
Right.
As long as
So you
nobody
can-
can get in there.
so-
Yeah.
So we want a horizontally sliding gate.
Yes.
Correct.
Accordion gate.
Accordion
like,
gate.
Vintage.
The only
Preferably in
issue,
bronze.
I don't know
Brass,
if this is an issue,
actually.
Brass.
but there isn't enough room
That's like-
for a sliding gate to fit recessed.
No,
So
it doesn't need
you
to be
will
recessed.
see
They
it.
turn.
doesn't need to
They
be
turn.
recessed.
You
They
don't
turn.
turn.
Yeah.
When you close it and then.
It turns.
It turns.
So it will turn like
A little wheel.
Here.
Yeah. So
Right.
it runs
Yeah.
across here, and when you roll it back there, it turns and sits there.
okay, lovely.
Yeah. So that's it,
Okay.
right, Bruce?
It's more in
We'll write
keeping
the
with what might
Yeah,
have been
I-
there.
We
why
want
don't-
an accordion
Eric's got
gate,
a
that's what
comment.
I'm putting.
I think that's.
So when would the gate be in use?
The hours really depend on the season. So in the summer, my staff is there from 8 in the morning to 7 at night, so the gate would be up the whole time. During the school year, because children are in school, there are days where we wouldn't open this gate until 2
In the afternoon?
in the afternoon. Yeah,
So that aesthetics actually starts to play a role then?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why we want,
yeah,
It's a landmark building. Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
a light in the vestibule?
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's not. I mean, it's.
What?
It's a,
Okay,
it's
so
just a
let's
light.
vote on that.
It's not
It's
a
20 to
beautiful
7.
light.
Yeah, as long as it's illuminated.
So you want to summarize what the
Yeah, it's
resolution?
very, very simple. The presentation is for a vertical gray solid roller gate, and we want an accordion gate with more transparency.
Right. Okay.
let's go,
In
yes.
favor of that?
Okay, thanks.
So are you a board member?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
And I.
No. Oh, I mean, you know.
You may.
Thank you.
So-
Thanks so much.
No, seriously, is she a board member?
No.
No, so you have to usually sit on the side, but we're not gonna make you move tonight.
So okay. Is
Well, you can't.
2931 Leonard here? Okay, Jason, you
Oh,
can.
that's the Spice Building?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But there's no
That's you.
rooftop edition. Why not? That's what we want to know. I have this complete for you.
How do you know there is?
Okay.
It's not on
I think
the agenda.
just.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, you
just
have
type
one,
it.
yeah,
All right.
Just go through me real fast to make sure that this is the most up-to-date one. Yes. To the right.
To the right,
Yeah, that one.
that one, okay. Hi, my name is,
You're doing it, right?
Okay, yeah.
Jason.
hi, my name is Gil Ivensur. I'm the architect, principal of Get Architects.
Whoa, it's a little slower? I'm sorry.
Sorry. My name is Gil Ivensur.
Oh, Gil Ivansor.
Yes, I'm the architect, principal of GET Architects
Thank you.
in New York, working with David Silvera on these beautiful buildings on 2931 Leonard Street. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about the context, just location. So the buildings are located right on the corner of Leonard and Varick and the intersection with West Broadway. We're talking about 3 buildings, 29, 31, and then the interconnected buildings facing Varick Street. These buildings were designed and built in 1881 by Morgan Slade, I believe the architect was. They were always dry food storage buildings. Very simple, utilitarian style, brick-faced buildings. And a little bit of history about the site. As you may know, in the 1910, there was an expansion of Varick Street to bring, to allow traffic downtown, uptown, removing quite a lot of urban fabric from this area. Here is creating this cut line through this neighborhood, removing quite a lot of fabric. Part of this removal came through 31, biting out a triangular piece of the building, creating a trapezoid kind of form to the building.
Which is now Square Diner, is that correct?
So no, the
that's
square
not
diner, I will
included.
show you a site plan actually.
Okay.
The diner is actually happening right here.
Oh,
that
that
is
is
a
triangle
That's
above
the
the triangle.
Right, right.
Okay.
So the leftover piece is the diner, and then later on they build the third piece, which is the piece facing what used to be a garage facing Varick.
The diner's
I'll show-
a separate lot.
Yes.
correct?
It's a separate
It's
lot,
not
yes.
part of the.
So our wall, our eastern wall is actually raising above the diner, which is a kind of a blank wall.
And the Spice Company wrapped around, but in separate
Correct.
buildings?
Correct.
That you're connecting?
No, they're already connected.
Okay.
They use 3 buildings.
Okay.
They
Okay,
use the 3
so keep-
buildings.
Got it.
So they are actually connected. So here's here's a beautiful image of the area.
No handouts, huh?
We actually
Oh, you have?
have.
Oh, please give
Oh,
it.
please,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be even better for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's. But that's
Is that the tax rate?
no, I don't.
That's
No,
actually
before
looking
that, taken from the
northward.
ground. This
That's
is just an
actually
Oh, it's
early.
an area.
After they
So
built
here,
the
there's
railroad.
Varick and West Broadway.
Oh, it's much further down the street.
Here.
Oh, this is a big dog. All right, let's see what's here. Where we go. Oh, there's.
That's the rest.
That's one thing I want to say about this.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks so much. Here.
Sir? I'm sure that they come over here a little bit.
I can share with you.
Okay.
All right, keep showing it. Let's go to the next historic
Thank
picture,
you.
because I see you have a lot of nice historic pictures, so we should just see them all.
So here's a
Can
picture.
I give you this?
You want to
Jason.
stay here all night?
Sure. Pass that to Mark.
What is this?
Read it.
Oh, okay.
for
Oh,
later.
Mark,
Yeah, okay, keep going.
Okay. So here's a picture overlooking Leonard and the corner. This is where the diner is right now, right here on this corner.
Here.
And you can see the building, the simplicity of the installation of the facade. This would be a picture from what today is Finn Square, overlooking into the garage, the third building, with a kind of a fortified form and open garage doors. This is a little collage that we did that we'll come back to it later maybe. But this is a diagram of the works we're proposing to the building. So first of all, we're going to clean the entire facade and expose the brick. The building right now is completely painted. We will express the cut, opening the existing window, this piece with a very delicate metal and glass facade. Completely renovating this building, maintaining the brick roof, and allowing the retail space in this floor to kind of revive the street, revive this area of the street, opening a lot like window, and a proposal for a bulkhead, which is kind of minimally visible. I'll show you the diagrams on the next pages. So this is the existing building. As you can see, this is view looking north. The building is completely painted. Here's the diner. This is from Varick Street. As you can see, this would be what used to be the garage area and the back facade of the building. This is a close-up of what used to be the garage, which we
Where?
open.
What page are you on?
why does that keep going so, why does it keep going so dark? And I'm not asking you, why does it keep going dark?
Okay, let's get it off power. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Well, what was your question, Bruce? I didn't hear your
Nothing,
question. Okay.
I'm oriented.
He asked what page we were on.
Okay. Keep going. Keep showing. Show us some stuff that you're gonna do.
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
coming,
Yeah, right.
it's
Oh, yeah.
coming,
Yeah.
I'm just
Visibility.
giving you,
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
orient with the building here. So, it's not moving.
Uh-oh.
Does everyone have a,
Yeah, we do.
okay, so if worse comes to worse, you can use
It's
those.
all right.
That's just views of the loading dock and the existing loading dock of the building. And here's some images of the roof, a roof mock-up that we created. So most of it is pretty low, and then we have only kind of the elevator rising up. This is a diagram that the rooftop will not be visible from the immediate surrounding. It's going to be visible only in glimpses in very, very specific places 3 blocks away.
And you have view corridors?
I have these diagrams and I have
Yeah,
those coming
yeah,
up.
so he's got the dots on the red
so
on
you can see it
page
here, all
29.
these diagrams showing this is looking south, so it's hardly visible.
Except the whole thing.
The mock-up's still there?
The mock-up is still there, yes. So this is from the immediate proximity of the building, so the rooftop is not visible.
No.
No. Yeah, well, that's our problem.
Is it?
Well, yeah, it's
We are supposed to request that
Yeah.
and see drawings and
remember there was this
decipher
little,
it.
yeah, right. So, Rashid, who is writing these agendas now? Who did this agenda?
Lucy didn't do it. I just copy and pasted
From where?
from the agenda that we have on the.
And who wrote that?
Who wrote the agenda on the website?
This might be me. I might have written it. Yeah.
Okay, because we got to
Yeah.
talk about the clarity of this, because
doesn't
renovate
say.
a warehouse for residential use and restoration of historic buildings. It's
Sounds
not
amazing.
Yeah.
There's a rooftop extension and
Yeah.
It needs
it's
more.
a-
So we need to talk with Lucian. I'll talk with
Okay.
Lucian
Yeah,
about
sure.
how we, because there's a concern that if you're a neighbour,
On Leonard Street.
you
between
may not
Greenwich
quite
and
realise what's
Broad.
going on here. When is your hearing?
At the end of the month, right? Beginning of February.
Okay. Okay. I'll talk to Lucian.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So these are images of the immediate surrounding of the building. The rooftop bulkhead is not visible. This is a kind of an aerial view of the building, the proposed, and here is some existing versus proposed elevations. So this would be the existing south elevation of the building, facing Leonard. Okay, so this would be the diner. This would be the diner. This is the loading dock and the entry to 2931 Leonard. So in our proposal, we propose to obviously replace the existing window to double glazed window, maintaining the historical opening. A metal clad bulkhead is going to be right above. We are restoring the storefront of the building, removing some bricks opening, using the bones of the
removing
building.
some brick, okay, yep.
Restoring
Okay, got
the
it.
cast iron ornaments and installing glass and steel storefront. And also having working on the loading dock to create an ADA accessibility to the building. We are also proposing to remove the fire escape. The fire escape would never be used. There was no connection between them. They are not so ornamented, but again, we're proposing to remove it, but we're okay if it's important to the board or to Landmark, we are willing to renovate them, paint them, and leave them. So this would be an enlarged drawing of what we're proposing to do to the loading dock. We need to have an ADA accessible to the lobby area. So we try to use the silhouette of the existing loading dock and proposing steps leading to the retail space and to the residential lobby with a ramp connecting from the street, rising up about 18 inches into the lobby. The window rhythm and the proportions are to match the neighbor, so we're trying to match in proportion as much as we can, and we're proposing a canopy as well. So that would be an image of the way it could look. This is from looking at Leonard Street, and this is looking east. So this would be the north elevation, the rear elevation. So right here, we're proposing to keep 3 rows windows, but slightly move 2 rows in order to have to match and to be visible to our interior layout.
On Barrack Street?
This is actually the rear side of the building.
Ah, okay.
That's the rear side
Yeah.
of the building.
Which you do see.
Which is
looking
highly
down.
visible
Right, you will
because of
see-
you're
you
over the
will see
square
from
diner.
From the
Yeah,
north
Yeah, it's
side.
not.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the mock-up
Yes,
of
yes.
that one, wow.
And that would be the elevation from Berwick Street, so that would be the diner, and that would be the relatively solid building that used to be a garage. And we are proposing to open it and connect it to the street and express the cut line, this diagonal cut line with a finely crafted metal and glass assembly, and the lot line window that we're proposing, which kind of activate and kind of relieve the weight of this wall a little bit, I think. And this would be an enlarged
But when you say
door.
lot line window, I mean that's your lot now because it's
No, they don't own the
They
diner
don't
lot.
own-
Well-
It's not part of the parcel.
And
It's not part
legally,
of
it's a lot line.
right.
They could build.
Well,
something.
we're looking at these windows.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
On
that's
this window.
right.
These are we owned.
Yeah.
actually.
So so the windows above the square diner are already there, right? And they're the lot line. I mean, these are.
The diner is actually
These windows
here.
are
The
not
diner
here.
is right
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm looking
These
at
windows are
Trees.
not
Not
here.
there,
Right,
they're
right.
not there,
Yeah.
they're putting in those
All right.
windows, the way I read it.
Correct.
Right,
Well,
right.
these windows couldn't be there now, or else they wouldn't have been able to project those Times Square signages
Right,
that they've been
right.
projecting, I guess, until they were stopped by the city. Is that correct?
You're talking about the installation that they did.
There were
previously?
electronic billboards that were.
I don't.
Is the developer here?
Yes.
Well, we'll ask about that later.
Okay.
I guess they didn't know landmark law,
Oh, boy.
but go ahead.
You're messing with us.
So this is the proposal for the old garage. So this would be a retail space that opens to the street and activate this area of this segment of Berwick Street. This is a view from Field Square into the building.
Could you leave that for a minute? Go back, please.
So that would be the diner,
Right.
and these are the lot line windows that
And-
we're proposing.
And that other part is new too, to the right.
Well, this would be, yes,
Yes.
this would be new, yes.
And it could just be the way I'm looking at it from the angle. Are there paintings of trees on the building, or is that Finn Square? What is that?
Oh,
Where?
good
These?
question. Are there actually,
down,
there are
down.
actually
In the-
trees there?
What
There
is?
are trees.
No, no,
No,
on
no,
the other side of the
these.
street, in
Are
front of the
there trees
diner.
There are two kinds
Yes.
of trees here.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
I never
Yes,
noticed
You
that.
never noticed them.
Me either.
Full bloom.
They're not that tall. They're real trees. Okay.
Yep, they're putting that big round arc thing in there. It's gonna be like right next to the.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, what was that thing? Oh, that tires.
Oh,
Whatever that was called.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
View from
Yeah.
Barracks.
So that would be on Berwick looking south. So you can
And
see
this roof on the use of this terrace
This is gonna be a private terrace of the second floor apartment.
Wow.
There's nothing illegal with that.
So that would be, this is the existing
Mm-hmm.
piece, this is the existing,
Right.
and this is the proposed.
And then you have a roof.
Well, we have to have a recreational space for the tenants and access to the. This is a close-up,
Mm.
and this is a detail of the metal, the new metal and glass space facade.
And the metal and glass
He has
is
a board. He has
is
a board
glass
in the back.
wall? It's just
Materials board?
Yeah, in the back of the
it's
handout.
prefab
No,
glass
no,
wall.
you bring with you.
It's gonna be, we like to do it with
saw the photo.
I got it.
handmade. It's not gonna be just
was
an
pretty
aluminum,
good.
extruded aluminum.
I'm okay with the
It's gonna
picture, but.
be flat bars of aluminum.
Okay.
Mm.
Where is that picture on here? I mean, it seems to be like a gray metal. Okay, paint.
So here are some painting with a mock-up. So the entire building is painted, and we are proposing to clean it up and restore the historical brick. So that would be the extent of the mock-up and a close-up image of the clean brick, which looks kind of beautiful. This is a condition of lintel and a bracket.
But you're gonna paint it.
We're gonna
again.
paint it.
Okay.
Yes.
Any reason you don't wanna just keep it beautiful, clean brick?
We're cleaning the brick and
Yeah.
leaving the exposed historical brick. We're not
Oh, good.
painting. We're
Yeah.
painting the
The
bracket.
pintles. So everywhere you're taking the brick,
We clean the entire building
okay, so, because it looks beige on this one.
because it's black and white. And
Okay,
that's
so,
why.
so
you
we're
can see
gonna have red
here-
brick building, new red brick building.
You can see exactly.
Oh.
So you can see here.
Where?
This is
Show
red
us.
brick?
Here, this is
What am I missing?
the brick.
Yeah.
Please just be sure you're telling me that, so the brick is gonna be stripped and left natural.
Correct.
Even though the
But that
renderings
doesn't
show
look
it
like
as a
it.
different color.
This is just a diagram.
Okay,
This
it's
is-
done
It's a
diagram.
massing, it's.
Yeah, but it's,
a massing,
but
yeah.
Jeff's confused, rightfully so,
Yeah.
because it's painted and, okay, clean the whole brick facade.
That's
Yes.
key,
Great.
key,
Of course,
key
I'll
note
have a
on
lot
your
of
wa-
notes. I will have-
Right.
Please.
And we were talking about color, he's talking about color. It could be a distortion, the awning the canopy looks blue, is it blue?
No, it's anodized metal. It's a dark metal.
Like gray?
I have a piece of.
Oh, okay, good.
Show us
Oh,
materials.
Yeah.
Wait, so is that, we saw everything? Is that in fact, I mean, we may have, I mean, in terms of what's being
Yeah,
proposed,
yeah.
that we saw the rooftop, we saw the canopy, we saw, okay. So are we going to just go into discussion?
Yeah,
I'd like to see the materials.
Yeah.
If you could just,
There we go.
mind, I mean.
No, I don't
wanna
mind.
Step on your.
Oh, please, please.
So, is that everything you brought?
No, I have more.
Please bring everything.
Here's your,
That's the canopy? Nice, bring it up.
Okay, so if that is, and the storefront infill is wood or like,
It's gonna be metal and wood.
It looks like anodized, you know.
yeah, anodized,
Aluminum.
aluminum,
exactly.
anodized.
great.
That's right.
It's a low E glass, and this flat bar is gonna be made. This piece is gonna be made this flat bar. So this is the
Yeah.
raw aluminum,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's gonna be finished dark.
yeah.
This would be the material to just bring softness inside the lobby. So it's visible from the street, so I thought to bring it over so you can see.
The ramp is all painted diamond plate,
Yes,
exactly.
And
Lighting outside,
And
outside
perhaps-
lighting?
so we're gonna have just, I have it, I order a piece, but there's a
Okay.
long lead time, so I can send it to
But
you.
where is it, under the canopy or something?
It's under the canopy, yes.
So how many, there's just some general lighting under the canopy?
Yeah, exactly.
so this is,
This is supposed to be brick.
Okay, we think, yeah, okay, he said it was.
Yeah, it's gonna be red brick,
I wouldn't
original red brick.
You know,
Which is
everything else
good.
gets colored in, so I wouldn't
Are you
appreciate
planning,
it.
is this also this tree on this block? I just cannot
I-
believe
I
that
am
there's a tree like that on Leonard Street.
It surprises
Are you
me.
proposing to plant a tree there? Because I would advise against that if you're gonna put a ramp, but obviously that's not what we're talking about here, and that's a whole process, but
Is that the entrance?
I would advise not to put a tree. This is the resi entrance, right? It's all resi. The whole building's residential.
Now you have this is going to be the residential, and then the second one is going to be the retail.
The little guy.
Right. So I'll show you the floor plan so
Yes.
you can understand how it's going to be. So these are some the materiality, and so here we have the site plan. So we have here a 29 Leonard, 31 Leonard with a cut, with a kind of a trapezoid form. This would be the diner, and the back building, the garage building.
The garage building,
Correct.
meaning,
It used to be a garage.
Yeah, the one in the
you're not
historic
using
photo.
it as a garage, right?
So this is the ground floor plan, so that's the commercial space, activating Varick, and this part of Leonard. And this is the residential lobby. So there's an access to the commercial from Leonard is here, and from Varick is here. And this would be the access to the residential lobby. And this ramp is going to serve the residential, and handicapped for the commercial will come through Varick. This is an underground floor plan, which we have some building amenities. And this would be a second floor plan where we kept the historical division of the building.
Is this a fireproof building? Concrete building?
It's a brick building.
All concrete and everything on the inside? Is it
No, in the
wood
inside
joists?
is wood joist.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we're going to introduce a new core, obviously, by code, one elevator, and then on the second floor, the roof of the old garage will be terraces. This would be the typical floor plan. We have an east apartment and a west apartment, again, maintaining the historical division of the building. The top apartment, we're proposing a full floor apartment, and this would be the recreation space for the tenants, which is on the roof.
So the
And
only
these would be the sections of the building.
building stuff on the roof is for access to the roof? It's not actually another apartment up there?
No, here we have a
Roof
common,
terrace,
a
right.
common
Yeah.
terrace, which we have by code to
Provide for the size of the building.
And this part will be for the top floor. But there is
Right,
no
but there's no
interior
penthouse.
space. No, it's just an outdoor space.
Roof terrace. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
this is it.
Go there.
I'll start. Okay, so I think that you're missing an opportunity on some of these things. I'm going to point them out so everybody can just weigh in. On the rear of the building, where you're taking the windows off and being so kind to not, just destroy the kind of way the windows look from the back that you see from Varick, you're putting in 1/1 windows, and really, since you can see it, and what's contextual would be what was there, the 6/6 windows. I don't really see what downside there is to that, but it would be better since it's visible. And I think that taking the fire escape off is okay, unless people here think it's a problem.
No, it's okay.
It's not decorative, and I don't think it's a good opportunity for metal doors in the infill, because it's just not what's done. It's not historical at all, and you could use wood. The canopy appears sleeker than the normal kind of Tribeca, story about how there's canopies and we're going to put one in. So it kind of needs a little bit of work. And while I appreciate your, amazing two-facedness of this building, where you could see this building as like a completely modern building from one angle, I just think it's too much of an intervention to accept to put forward a resolution that would be approving, making that big gap in the side of the building. And I think that maybe as a suggestion to completely alleviate the minor visibility from, around the neighborhood of this very modest roof addition for a building this size, maybe this is an opportunity to raise that parapet, that weird blank wall parapet, just so that it looks like the rest of it and blocks every bit of visibility that you have from those angles, if there's an opportunity for that.
I'd also add to that the amount of glass on the retail space on Varick it just reads so wrong for Tribeca. The intention here is that you want. Did you consider something less than just a complete wall of glass?
We did many studies, and we showed landmark view. Then they advised that that would be a way to go, as long as we are maintaining the form of the roof, which has a fortified kind of.
Yeah.
Who are you working with at Landmarks? Just out of curiosity.
Emma Waterloo.
Okay.
So, first of all, the good things, I appreciate the granular nature of your presentation. I appreciate the depth of the presentation. And I like the fact that you're bringing the building back to natural brick. Those are the good things. Everything else is of great disturbance to me. The glass and the mullions, it's Malibu or it's Seattle. It's not the Tribeca West Historic District at all. And although across the street you have a cutout to the district, which allowed Dunn and Company to build on the Provenzano garage, that wasn't in the Landmark District. The north side of Leonard Street is extremely definitive of what the Tribeca West Historic District is about. And I'm not asking you to slavishly replicate it at all. In fact, to the contrary. But this has nothing to do. It has no bearing on the historic district. And the reason why it's designated is to purpose. There is a reason why we're in a historic district. Furthermore, so I'm completely against not only the amount of glass facing east, but even the mullions and the muntins. I don't get it. I do get it, but I don't like it. And now back to, there's a page that says 2019 and 1940, but the pages are not designated, so I can't
Yeah,
tell
it's the
you.
use of the blank wall for
Why is there
promotion.
a six-story
Well, it's
picture of?
Broad.
What
Yeah,
is
well,
that about?
well,
Can you tell us?
Yes. This is just a collage we played with. We did the office. Historically, they use this wall.
Historically, that's before, you have a picture of that, and I know very well because our building was too in 1920. I have pictures of that, but that was when it was.
We're not proposing to put a bronze. It's just
And you're not proposing to put any signage, right?
for now. No, we're not.
What do you mean for now?
now.
We're
For
not
now.
proposing.
Let
No.
me make it plain. I live around the corner. The electronic signage was a shock, and it was illegal. You cannot do signage outside of 8 inches within the building in a landmark district without some kind of special dispensation. Did you or the developer know that? Were you aware of landmarks law?
We didn't put any sign.
Who did?
I don't know.
Who projected?
When was this?
It was everywhere. It was in Tribeca Trib. I saw it every night.
When?
4 months ago, 3 months ago.
It wasn't with our approval.
Interesting. And it was in Tribeca. The electric. What is the neighborhood?
Nobody asked.
Citizen.
We didn't contract anybody to put it. Nobody asked our permission to put it.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
no knowledge of it.
But anyway, we should note that
No signage.
no signage or graphic use of the eastern wall.
Okay, I can.
You're squeezing so much of a little landmark business, and God bless you. You know, if you can get the dollars for all the uses, that's great. But
Well,
the way you're cutting it up and the way you're designing it, it's unfortunate.
Anybody else?
Going around.
Yeah, I think Missy covered all the glass, size of the glass, size of the windows, same thing. I caught that too about the LeBron thing. I can't think of anything else. I would not vote in favor.
Megan?
As presented.
Megan?
Oh, no, I look at this and I'm confused.
Yeah.
And I think
articulated why I'm so confused by this image.
Yeah. Eric?
I won't repeat what was said before, but I do agree with Bruce. I thought Bruce really distilled some of the concerns. And this is just my own little thing that I thought, but for some of the mock-ups of what the building would look like, it would be more of a diverse cast of people in pictures.
I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
A more diverse
I noticed that too. They're all,
Yeah, but you could say.
they're all nouveau, Tribeca.
All right.
We're not asking the non-board member for comments.
All right, keep
Jeff
going.
has something else.
Anything else?
Yeah, that's
G?
the wrong guy. That's so old school. Brown.
Okay, anything, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm certainly in agreement with Bruce, but also, maybe it's me, I've been here 10 years or something, I've never seen, when you come back, if you come back, you might show pictures that show the color of the brick. I mean, this is not a massing thing, Jason, look.
No, I get where he's coming from too, so.
But to present,
Yeah,
I mean, I
you gotta bring your A game.
We have images with it.
You know, but
Susan?
in general, you know.
I have nothing to add. Bruce, they've all,
So,
I can't vote for it.
I want Jason to write it, because he's good with the particulars, but I may have to add a little bit of polemics to it. on
Okay,
this one.
it's due, when are you going? 22nd?
No, we're going beginning of February.
Perfect, because we have a full board meeting on the 20-something. So, it's always cool to come to the full board meeting and hear what people have to say. So,
Should we have
I don't
to
remember
vote?
what day the full board meeting is?
Normally,
Tuesday the...
Yeah, I have to check.
Okay.
Normally, we would say, do you want to come back with it, but you're not going to revise the whole building.
No,
It's
you've
just
got to go with what
this is
you've got.
this is
I
what
mean,
you
it
did.
was a very thorough presentation, and
appreciate
it's
it.
terrific that you're bringing a building back to life that needs that.
Yeah.
It's just with all due respect for
This building-
our remit, looking
Oh,
at
right.
the
And
historic
then
district
all of whatever.
and whether it's contextual, we regrettably don't think it is.
Given that you're not adding all that much, I barely understand why you
Right,
you did.
find the layup
There-
version
There's
of
no,
this and go for it.
right, there's no
Yes,
understanding,
yes.
no
Right.
offense, there's no understanding of the landmark district, what defines the Tribeca West Historic District architecturally, and that's the last building on that block
Yeah.
Yeah,
to be converted.
and we're all unanimous, you have to hear. We're not always unanimous. This is very clear.
Okay.
Okay.
So those in favor of rejecting the
Negative
application?
resolution. Right, okay.
Thank you. 7 Broadway.
71.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, 71.
I just question, what happens to it? Does this now get your rejection of this proposal, go to the
Full board, and the full board will agree or disagree, partly disagree, and then whatever the outcome goes to the LPC hearing, where they will be presenting
And where
their...
you might want to speak as a citizen if you're interested in this matter. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
oh yeah,
yes.
sure.
posted on
Yeah, it's on the
Second,
website.
this building.
But you would have,
That's the full board?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and you might want to speak if you have an interest in speaking, and you may want to attend the public hearing at Landmarks Preservation Commission if you have a hearing.
Can I have one of those
Yes,
Sure.
not mine though.
I hear. We took it back,
There's some extras.
Where do you live?
taking it.
27 Lemon,
Which is,
right next
Not the
door.
Julie.
oh, yeah,
Could
That
we
was
keep one of
converted
people
Oh, we
if we
keep
like
this?
one?
18 years ago or so.
Thanks, Mark.
Long before.
It's a nice, it was a sweet little conversion.
You know what the best?
The one everyone
I'm sorry?
They don't change the thing.
Right, they did a nice job. I
Okay,
remember.
all right.
One, you guys?
Yeah.
It wasn't a conversion. it
All right,
fell down.
all right, let's keep going. 71 Broadway.
That's what I said, you know it fell down. Conversion, typically.
I work at MG New York Architects, and we're here on behalf of Equity
Can you do this?
Residential.
Cool.
They own the building at 71 Broadway. So we're proposing a handicap ramp at the rear of the building on the Trinity Place side, and to provide access to the commercial spaces that are on the basement level. They can't be accessed from the Rector Street entrances. There's a few steps down, so I'll get to that.
What's going in? All the sewer pipes. see the top left. Those are sewer pipes sitting there ready to get installed.
So yeah, so these are the historical
1904.
photographs that I
Yep.
found. They aren't really applicable to this.
Yeah.
No.
No, but they're nice.
Yeah, but they're
Department of Water.
exactly. So these are the conditions on the Rector Street side. I was just trying to show you guys the entrances and how there's a few steps down. This one, the steps are on the inside, but this is what it looks like on the sidewalk. And this is on the for the third store that's on the Trinity Place side. And then this is the pedestrian corridor that is accessed from Trinity Place, and that's where we're proposing to put the ramp to access the store and to go in. And then these stores all don't have.
This is up to Roger. This is it's wonderful to see these, and it's a beautiful building. We're not that averse to necessary ADA accessible.
Yeah,
So
it's
maybe
all
we
right.
can move.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just let
Okay, sorry.
So these are the existing
Give it.
conditions on
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
area where we're proposing
Okay,
the ramp.
that's nice. Okay, sorry.
So this
Doing
is
it, Jason?
a ramp in the neighborhood on the other side of the block, on Morris, and
Yep.
it's just a precedent photo,
Yep.
similar ramp, similar installation. And then this is where we're proposing it.
It's on Trinity, you say? It's on Trinity Place.
Existing.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
So on page 7, is that where you are now?
I think I'm on 8.
Okay, so just go back to 7.
Yes.
So you aren't impacting anything on the building that's there. That deep device. What is the deep device or DEP device? What is that?
It's a water meter.
Oh, a water meter. Okay.
Yeah.
And the existing conduit. Okay. All right. So when we've got, we're on 8 now. Okay. So you're doing classic ADA, and you're using what's the material for the railing?
We'll do stainless steel. It matches the other features of the building.
Stainless.
I thought the others we saw
We saw brass.
brass.
That's
Brass.
That was a precedent.
No, you don't say brass. He says brass.
I did, I say brass, I said, we just repeated brass.
So-
That was a different building. That was an
But what is this? It's larger than normal. What's the size of the piping that you're proposing to use?
It's on page 10.
Oh, so you're using satin stainless.
Yes.
So it looks brass-like. Does it? Yeah, I guess it.
No,
No, it doesn't.
no, it's it's stainless.
It's stainless.
The other shows you the brass.
Oh, okay. It looks like you could do it in satin. I mean, have you thought of using?
The entire facade and the entranceway
Is-
is all
is-
stainless. Right, the doors are stainless.
Okay,
There's
all
What
right.
they
a
showed
door
us
that's
was
stainless.
something else.
To match
So,
existing.
yeah.
Okay,
So here it is, this is the proposed.
okay. So the proposed,
On
if we
page
look
11.
at page 11 of 11, there it is, with or without it, and the material for the base of the ramp, is that diamond plate?
No, that'll be concrete.
Concrete. You're going to lay it in. So where are you putting the electrical unit and the?
Relocate that off that face.
Okay, concrete.
Do you have any other renderings that are closer, that are more detailed, or is?
Well, go back. It's all the drawings, the plans there, Mark.
No, the rendering of the ramp, not the drawing.
And there's nothing at the end. There's no elevator or anything.
It's hard to decipher the
Right.
colors and contrast here
Okay.
in the building.
We're gonna make every attempt to match the polished stone that's at the first floor.
Yeah.
And then stonework above, but it's polished at the base. It's angled and it's polished.
Here, yeah.
And what is that there, a newsstand, of course?
Yes.
So it's a concrete ramp, but it's polished stone to match the existing polish on the face. Match stone face.
It looks like it's a coat mahogany.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Roger, that's on Trinity.
On Trinity. Yeah.
You know, there's nothing we can do about it.
No, and it's
Because
the
Trinity
right
is
place to put it.
so-
It's the right place to put it.
You
can't turn it to the left.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No, I
It's gonna have
understand.
that ugly
Yeah,
new
I mean, it's
building
not
anyway.
like
Yeah.
20 Pine with FedEx with its ridiculous thing. Yeah. So, and it completes, it meets all code, ADA code, right? So I'd say that's fine. So
Yes.
any comments? Those in favour?
Just add the comment about matching.
Yeah, I've got the comment about matching. Yep.
In the
Okay.
resolution.
So that's
Here,
900. And when's your hearing?
February 5th or 6th.
2/6. Very good. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You want to take these back? Some spare ones. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So,
Oh no, do we have to discuss something?
No.
Okay. I'm tired.
personnel committee, what's going on?
Sometimes after these meetings.
Let me shut it off.